I remember when I took our daughter down for the first time, she didn't know the players. She goes, "Which one's Kevin Francis?" I said, "The tall one." "Which one's Jose Dominguez?" I said, "The small one." And that's how she remembered them. Good memories. So welcome back to Small Heath Alliance FC, and we're now at that part of the season. It's crunch time. Every single game is really important, and this year the Championship table is absolutely crazy. As we stand today, there's 6 points between Watford in 12th and Sheffield Wednesday in 23rd place on 38 points. It's absolutely crazy. And we, as Birmingham City, are right in the middle of all those teams. So every game is an important one. And the game that we're just about to play this weekend is against a team right next to us in the table, and that's Millwall. So in this video, we're going to have a little chat about the game, see what we think about the opposition, give our predictions. And I'm going to pass that straight over to Matt and say, Matt, what do you think the game's going to go like against Millwall on Saturday?
So first of all, I went to St.Andrews on my lunch break today to pick up our tickets for the Den. So I'm actually really excited for Saturday's game. It's going to be intense. I don't think I'm going to be able to watch the majority of the 90 minutes, but it's going to be very, very close, I think. And just to let people know, I'm sure people are aware of the league table, but Millwall are currently in 18th on 40 points and a minus 13 goal difference. And Blues are currently in 19th with 39 points and a minus 14 goal difference. I mean, you're splitting hairs, aren't you? 1 point and 1 goal. I think, our away form has been shaky this year at best. So if there's any good time to turn it around, it has to be at the Den this weekend for this absolutely massive game. It's a 6-pointer.
It is a 6-pointer. Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of these games now where we say we need to win this game, but that's exactly what Millwall say.
Yeah.
They'll be looking at this game. They're at home. They're playing a team around them. So it's almost literally has to be like a cup final.
Absolutely.
It has to be for both teams. Now, we know with Millwall, under Neil Harris, who was recently taken back over, that they're going to be a tough nut to crack because they're going to be up for it. They're going to be charged up and they're going to be going for everything. They've done well since he came back, actually, but he's changed their system. So he's been in charge now for 3 games and they've won 2 and drawn 1 of those 3 games. They beat Watford and Southampton and just drawn away at Blackburn. But interestingly, when I was looking at this, he's changed them to a 4-4-2.
Okay.
He's playing 4-4-2 when under the previous manager they were playing a 3-4-2-1, which I presume made them a little bit more exposed. And what he's come in, he's tried to make them much more compact. But they're a very direct and hard-working team. Yeah. And also as well, one thing that I also noticed as well is that they're a team like we used to be last season under John Eustace, where they don't mind the opposition having the ball. So I think we're going to get a lot more possession in this game. But that doesn't mean to say it's going to be an easy game because they're very compact.
Yeah, and it's funny because me and you have argued on a couple of videos that although Paik and Dazal have definitely made us more front-footed, we need to get forward in bigger numbers. Yeah. And I think if you're going to take 3 points away from the Den, when we move forward, when we transition from defence to midfield to forward, we have to go forward in numbers in this game.
Yes.
And I think, we're coming off the back of a 1-1 draw against Hull. Fair enough, an underwhelming game. However, it is a point away from home. So the players' heads are going to be relatively high. I think, as you say, I wouldn't expect anything less of a Millwall team to be hardworking, grafting, battling for every ball, and we need to be right there behind them, battling for everything as well. And I think when some people saw the starting lineup against Hull, there was a few fans going, "Oh, a little bit underwhelmed, not sure." I mean, I'll put my hands up, and when I saw Tyler Roberts up front, I was a bit like, "Oh, where's those goals going to come from?" But actually, in hindsight, I think when we do play Millwall, we are going to see Stansfield, we are going to see Dazal and Paik in the middle there. So I think we're going to go back to those the Blackburn game, the Sunderland game, and that will make us naturally more front-footed. And I think you're right, we are going to get more of the ball, but it's how we move that ball forward for me. We need to get it moving. But I'd be interested. Do you think we'll see Pritchard from the start of this game?
Well, I've made a note of that, Matt. I'd like to think that he'd be in contention, but then I think Mark Venus is going to pick the team to obviously suit the game like he should. And because they're playing 4-4-2, that might determine who he actually picks. I mean, I'm not sure. After the looking at the team selection against Hull, it's really hard to predict now who is going to be picked, who he's going to start. I think my suspicion is that Pritchard will be on the bench again.
Okay, that's a fitness decision, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. I think just easing him in. If he can make an impact when he comes on, that's absolutely fine.
Who do you think is going to swap? I'm almost certain Dembele won't start against Millwall. I think he's going to start on the bench. Who do you think is going to come into that attacking position to take his place? Do you think it'll be Miyoshi? Do you think it'll be Hall, Pritchard? Again, I know you mentioned Pritchard, but George Hall had a good game coming off the bench
I
against
think
Hull.
again. I think he'll be on the bench
Yeah,
again. I
maybe
think he'll
Miyoshi.
be easing him in again. I thought about the starting lineup, and looking at sort of the fact that we're playing Millwall, and because they will play 4-4-2, that is literally two banks of four, so they're going to be hard to break down. So we do need players that have got a bit of creativity. So I agree that Dembele probably won't start, but I think Bakuna will, because we are going to.
I think we need Bakuna.
Yeah, there's going to be creative. I'm probably Paik and Dazal probably will be back in the midfield, and obviously, like I said, we've got Hall on the bench. It's just that left-hand side. Who do you play on there? I think it probably will be Miyoshi.
I think it will be.
I think it'll probably be Miyoshi that will start on there, and then with Stansfield up front. Yeah. It's just whether or not that Mark Venus might think, well, because they're playing 4-4-2, can we afford two strikers? Therefore, can we play Stansfield and Tyler Roberts, who will then replace Jordan James? Maybe he'll be on the bench. Mm-hmm. It's a really conundrum, isn't it? Because there's so many possibilities of who the starting lineup will be.
Yeah. Well, after the Hull game, apart from the subs that came on, it's anyone's place really. Dembele was pretty poor. I mean, Bakuna was good against Hull, but often when we were going forward, it was like him versus 9.
Yeah,
because he didn't have the attacking support. So it's anyone's guess really in that attacking third against Millwall who he's going to play. But I think it'll be Miyoshi. I think he'll sub out Dembele for Miyoshi. I think he'll go back to Stansfield up front. And as you said, the key for me is getting Dazal and Paik back into that centre of the midfield, because I like the way that they push us forward up the pitch. And I think against Millwall, it's going to be absolutely key.
I think Pritchard is in with a shout to start.
If he's fit.
And in that case, we'll probably replace Bakuna, maybe, because he's been playing Bakuna on the right, hasn't he?
Yeah.
That's sort of where Pritchard would play. That's why I think he probably will be on the bench, Pritchard, because I think we will need probably start with Bakuna.
I think we need Bakuna this game.
But looking at Millwall, I might get shut down for saying this. I like Millwall as a team in terms of the similarities in terms of the way that they are as a club with us. They've got proper, decent fans. I know they get a lot of criticism, but they're good. They're good fans, that like to see what we see in our team, like to see hard-working graft. Yeah. And that's why I think the game will be interesting, because both sets of fans are going to have expectations that all of their players put a shift in as well. Yeah. But players to watch for Millwall, Zian Fleming. He's scored attacking midfield. He scored seven goals and 4 assists this season. Kevin Nesbitt, he seems to like playing against us. He scored that goal against us at St.Andrews, that free kick. Do you remember?
Yeah.
He's got 5 goals. And Tom Bradshaw as well, as a player a few years ago, we were interested in actually.
Yeah.
He's got 4 goals and 3 assists. And also Wes Harding, one of our previous players, as a right back. He bought him obviously when Gary Wright was there as manager. He's got 3 goals. And obviously they've got players like George Saville. There's some good players in that team, and good footballers as well. Yeah. So I think we've got to be very mindful that they can hurt us, and we've got to be really on our game in this one.
Yeah. And by the way, I completely agree. I don't know what it is. Maybe it is the similarities with the Birmingham Millwall fan base. But I've got a little soft spot for Millwall for some reason. And I think actually, if you strip away the violent side of the club, and Blues don't have a great reputation also in certain areas, it's actually quite a family. The Den apparently is actually quite a family-based club, and it's got quite a family-based feel around it. And I saw a documentary on YouTube, and it was a guy who kind of tours different stadiums in and around the UK. And he went to the Den. He goes, I couldn't believe it. He goes, there was families here. People were really kind to him. Millwall get a bad rap for that one dark side of the club, which obviously takes all the limelight in the press, isn't it? But I'm with you. I've got a little bit of a soft spot for Millwall. And I agree. I think there's definitely some players to watch out on. And also a couple of players you didn't mention. He's not going to play because he's still injured, but Sean Hutchinson's a good centre-half as well. And also they've got Cooper and Tanganga at centre-half as well. Very physical, very good in the air. And Stansfield can be a little bit light sometimes, so he's going to have to bring the muscle for this game.
Sarchich as well. He's a goalkeeper on loan at us. I think we were interested in buying him at the time, but we couldn't afford him because obviously we're still under old ownership. Yeah. And he saved a penalty, didn't he, against us?
He did. So it's a terrible penalty from Hogan, but he did save
still saved it. He
did save it.
Yeah.
You can only save what shot's been put in front of you, and it did. And good keeper. He actually got a clap in front of the Tilton when he came down.
Yeah, he's an ex-player. He did well for us on loan. I think if we had signed him, I think a lot of Blues fans would have been happy with that.
Yeah.
But obviously, at the time we just couldn't afford him, so he went to Millwall. He obviously seems to be doing well there. Yeah. I think from our starting lineup, I think Ayew, I think he's really earning his corner at the moment. I think he realises for him that he has to impress now because he's been out the team. Obviously, after Rooney went, which I was one of his first picks, he wasn't picked for a number of games. So I think with the injuries, I think they've done him a favour, given an opportunity to come into the team. And I think he's done really, really well. I think he's a banker to start, and I think because obviously that Roberts might be fit. Because I think he only just about missed the Hull game, but I think Ayew has earned the right to start, and I quite like the combination in the last game against Hull. I think Stansfield he's nailed on to be starting.
He has to.
And then obviously, we've give our sort of ideas about the sort of formation and the top players that we think may be in the team, but it's a real conundrum.
It is
because after this game, on Tuesday night, isn't it? We're playing Middlesbrough, Borough, and then we've got another game on Saturday against Watford. So I think picking the players isn't just what players he would ideally want to pick. He's actually thinking about their, managing these players so they don't burn out.
No, I completely agree. And I think, when you do see squad rotation, it's a normal part of football. It's easy to press the panic button and go, why isn't Stansfield playing? Why is he on the bench? But actually, when you've got a very intense schedule coming up, it's a smart thing to do. And clearly his gamble paid off because we came away from Hull with a point. And hopefully those players with that extra half of rest will be fresh and firing for Millwall. But another big thing for me, which I've just made a note of, our team height is quite small on average, and Millwall pose a very attacking threat. They win a lot of battles in the air. I think they're one of the highest. Their centre halves are highest on the top half of the list for duels won in the air.
Answer to that: keep the ball on the floor.
Keep the ball on the floor, but they're inevitably going to get a corner. They're inevitably going to get a free kick here and there. So when we're defending set pieces, we need to be really on it.
I think I turned around to you on Saturday against Southampton, didn't I? Or the last game against I turned around to you when the players were coming out the tunnel. I said it's like Southampton came out and it's like little school kids, our team, like because of the height difference. You are, and maybe that's something we'll definitely have to address in the transfer window. We do need some taller players.
Yeah, definitely.
And we haven't been short of them in the past. I mean, look at big Kevin Francis. Substitute him for a crossbar if we need him. Absolutely loved him.
Remember Dele Adebola as well? He was quite tall.
Yeah. But great player.
Dele Adebola was like one of the first players I remember in my era as a kid coming up in the Blues fan base. Stan Lazaridis, all those sort of players. Great times they were.
I remember the nostalgically the combination between Kevin Francis and Jose Dominguez.
Yeah. He was, but Jose Dominguez was tight, but he was fast and nippy kind of player.
They worked really well together, but they were so opposites in terms of height. It was absolutely. I remember when I took our daughter down for the first time, she didn't know the players. She goes, "Which one's Kevin Francis?" I said, "The tall one." "Which one's Jose Dominguez?" I said, "The small one." And that's how she remembered them. Good memories.
Yeah. But on a final note from me, I think, and you mentioned him earlier, one of the players for me I think we need to watch out is Zion Fleming. They're number 10. Attacking, likes to do long shots, definitely going to test Ruddy.
Yeah.
So I like to do this thing on a podcast. If you've never watched before, I like to pick a player who I think is going to cause us some problems, and I think their number 10 is going to be their sort of flary trouble player for us.
So something else as well. Just one final thing I've just remembered is we don't give any silly free kicks away in dangerous areas because, as we saw at St.Andrews, Nesbitt scored that.
It's good at set, yeah, absolutely. And you alluded to this earlier in the podcast, but I do just want to re-hit this message home as well. A couple of stats that I was really surprised at. Averagely during the Championship season, Millwall have only had 41% possession across their games in the Championship this year. Again, that really surprised me. And I'm expecting nothing less from the Millwall team here to come out fighting, to come out grafting. Typical Millwall teams, they're always pretty compact, and we need to be there for the battle. But we're not used to having 60, 70% of the ball in games regardless. So it's going to be interesting to see what we do with more of the ball. I really hope, as I say, that we get forward with numbers. I hope we're front-footed. I hope we can string a few more passes together than we did against Hull. If we can get, sequences, some nice sequences in the attacking third. I think if we do, I think we'll be okay. It's going to be close. It's going to be intense. My final comment, score prediction. I'm not going to go for... I was thinking 2-1, but I seem to guess 2-1 quite a lot. So I'm actually going to up those numbers off the back of the Southampton game. I think this is going to be a goal frenzy again, and I'm going to go 3-2 Blues.
Okay, good. Well, okay. Well, I think, and I thought, because we always ask about what the score's going to be. So I think that Millwall have only scored 15 home goals all season, so they don't score loads of goals out there. But we've only kept 2 clean sheets in our last 14 games.
It's a recipe for some goals, isn't it?
But yeah, I'm saying that. But I'm going to sort of take a bit of a punt at this. I think that we'll win 2-0.
Okay.
I'm gonna go for a clean sheet here. I think that if the defence can play compact like they did in the last game against Hull, I think we're capable of breaking away and getting a couple of goals. So I'm going to go 2-0 Blues.
Well, I hope you're right, because although we've both predicted wins, you've predicted a slightly more comfortable viewing experience when we're at the Den. So I'm going to hope for a 2-0, but my heart's going to tell me 3-2 Blues.
Excellent. We'll take either of those.
Definitely.
So that's what we think about the match against Millwall. Really important match for both teams, and we think it's going to be a good game. But of course, at the end of it, we want the 3 points. We need the 3 points just as much as Millwall do. But what do you think, Blues fans? Do you agree with our opinions on the game? Maybe you could let us know what you think the starting lineup will be by adding a comment below and let us know. Millwall fans, if you're watching this, please feel free to add comments below. Let us know a bit about your team, what you think about your expectations are, not just for this match, but for the rest of the season. But we do hope that you have enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so, to make sure you don't miss any future content all about Birmingham City. So me and Matt will see you on the next video.